Hey everybody, this is Jeremy, and I'm going to talk to you guys about how to have a deeper voice and sound like a man. And here's how you do it. It was a very simple process for me to do it, to get to the voice that I have now, which I didn't always have. It was a three-step process. And here's what did it for me. The first and most important step is to not focus on your voice. To have a very deep and masculine voice, especially if that's not your voice right now, I wasn't able to just do it naturally, just force my voice down in my throat and speak. That's not what worked for me. What my voice as it is now was a natural consequence of beginning to work on myself. And that's primarily through a journal that I write in, where I write every little detail about my life. I write down every little fear I have, every little insecurity I have, every challenge that I have. And I became one with everything that was frustrating to me in my life. I became one with, and to this day, I'm still one with it. I own it. I own my emotions, my struggles, my challenges, my mistakes, everything. And as I've done that repeatedly, I've become very comfortable with myself. And when you become comfortable with yourself, you relax. Your whole body relaxes. It's very difficult to have a voice like I'm speaking to you with right now if your whole body and your mind are not at peace and relaxed. It's not to say that I'm 100% without challenges. That's not true at all. But I'm very relaxed with myself and who I am. And so one is to begin work on yourself. A journal, that's what helped me. And just acknowledge everything about yourself. Do not dilute yourself in any way. And just be completely honest and do this over and over again. And then work on yourself to overcome the challenges and become a stronger version of yourself. That means facing fears. It really does. One of my fears, I'm going to share a very personal fear of mine, is the fear of rejection. And I have good reason for that. And it started from some childhood experiences that I won't get into, and some that have happened as I've gotten older. And so rejection to me was always something I was afraid of, someone not wanting me. And the way I've gotten over that in the last 9 months now is to just go out and put myself out there, particularly since I've been single for the last 9 months. And my way to face that fear primarily has been through dating, or one, trying to get dates, two, actually going on dates, and then three, trying to go on more dates with the same people and face that over and over, face the acceptance and the rejection that comes with doing that. And that's been a fun process for me, because after 9 months now, when I first started, when I had the first rejections start to come in, or someone not responding back, it was hard. But now, as I've done it for 9 months now, it's not that bad anymore. I realize it's okay. If someone doesn't ever respond to me again, it's okay. And it's no big deal. And so I've taken a fear of mine, and it no longer is a stressor to me. And so that allows me to relax. And so take all these fears and face them. So that's number one. Number two, once you are starting this process of becoming a stronger version of yourself, which I think is key to really having an authentic, deep voice as a man, you have to own yourself and your fears. Then number two is to focus on your voice. That means listening to yourself. As a man, I think you intuitively know, just by listening to yourself, when your voice is high like this, I know I'm having a high-pitched voice. And I'm going to link to a video where my voice was naturally like this from 2014. As time has gone on, my voice is now naturally like this, and that's because I've trained myself to listen to my voice and to deepen it, and then to do that over and over. And I kind of talk more from within here, like it's more of an oomph from within when I speak, versus when I'm talking like this, it's more just short bursts up in here rather than coming from my chest up in to my throat and speaking that way. And so now I can tell when I'm speaking deep, and I trained myself just by doing it over and over to speak that way. And so now I have a naturally deeper voice. I don't have the deepest voice for sure. I'm no Barry White, that's for sure. But by focusing and listening on my voice, it became a habit, just like anything you do over and over. So that's part number 2. And then part number 3 actually is very simple. Don't forget part number 1. Even when you've made progress on yourself, even when you've reached another level in your life, you always realize as a man that there's another level, and it's to never stop the process of becoming the next strongest version of yourself. You don't cease that. The moment you cease that, you start to lose your masculinity and your strength as a man, because that's what a man does. That's what I've realized a man does in the world, is he puts himself out there and he faces the world. Kind of like William Wallace in Braveheart. You're a warrior who doesn't mind scraping his knees and having some battle scars as he's gone out to give life a go. So to recap, step number 1 to have a deeper voice: face yourself, face all your fears, journal about all your fears and insecurities, own them, and then go out and face those fears. If you have a fear of public speaking, go take opportunities to public speak, even if you're deathly afraid. Like even if you're so afraid that your heart feels like it's going to beat out of its chest, face it. Put yourself in situations to face that fear. And then number 2, listen to your voice while you're talking. You can tell if you have a deep voice. Focus on speaking from your chest up through as you talk. And instead of talking like this, where you're talking just from here on out, you have to draw your voice in from within to have a deep voice. And then step number 3, of course, is don't forget step number 1. Always continue to work on yourself. Chisel yourself. You're like a sculptor as a man. Face yourself and be completely willing and open to acknowledge your weaknesses and fears. We're all mortal creatures here on earth, and it's quite all right to admit your fears and insecurities, because we all have them as people, no matter who we are. That's part of life. So that's how you have a deeper voice. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next coaching video.